Welcome back to Season 3, Session 10 of our ongoing GURPS Banestorm, Embers of Defiance game. I'm Rigil Kent, aka Phil, when we forget to use our online pseudonyms, today's GM. Before we begin, are there any questions or adjustments or point expenditures that need to be completed first?
I will be increasing my health from 10 to 12, expending 4 points.
Not your health, your hit points.
Hit points, yes. Sorry.
Okay. No worries there.
You clearly need them. You're building up scar tissue.
It's from all the unconscious. Unfortunately, his IQ is going to decline because he's taking constant brain damage from being unconscious. All right. Well, word from GM before we go ahead and get started. Last week, I kind of screwed up with the fight at the end. At least 2 of the NPCs were completely combat ineffective. Yet I kept us in combat time when I shouldn't have. Especially since the battle was clearly over, like 20 to 40 minutes before we actually called it. So I apologize for that. And in the future, if a battle seems like it is, for all intents and purposes, it's over. But I'm continuing on because, I've got the tunnel vision blinders on. Please feel free to shoot me a quick message and point out, hey, dude, this battle's over. So we won't spend 30 or 40 minutes, waiting for some bad guys to fail a health check.
Well,
or bleed out from 2 artery
Or bleed
wounds.
out, yeah, or something like that.
It's not really over until Ismir is making consciousness rolls.
Yeah,
So
I don't
noted.
like. No, that's not fair. Sorry.
I don't know. It sounds like a good plan to me.
It's a tradition.
It has turned into one, yes.
It's starting to change. That's why I raised my hit points up.
We'll see.
Hey, I think I did pretty good in that last combat. I stayed up until the very end.
You did not fall unconscious until we had declared the thing over. So good job.
And the only reason why I fell unconscious is because I was trying to bandage myself up. And I actually stayed conscious for a while trying to bandage myself up. Gotta give me credit for that.
Yeah, like 4 whole seconds.
No, it was like how many rolls? I think it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Like 4 whole seconds. At any rate.
No.
So, last week, everybody we had a very large fight in the arena of the City of 10,000 Delights because Farouk Halfborn decided to teleport you guys there when he got a missive from, I guess she would be technically considered your patron at this point, Zat al-Dawahi. He did not like whatever it was that was said, and he decided to send you off into a arena where you have an arena fight, because of course you have an arena fight. You always have to have an arena fight. During the fight, the missive started to glow and lightning started raining down all around it, and Zat al-Dawahi and her forces attacked the City of 10,000 Delights, and Zat and Farouk ended up being like hundreds of feet tall, and they were fighting in the sky while the craziness was going on. So your fight has ended. The last of your opponents has finally stopped struggling, and that would probably be the elf guy who was choked out by Haruki after Haruki decided to bounce him off of a stone wall. And
Stop
overhead,
fighting back.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And overhead, the immense figures of Zat al-Dawahi and Farouk ibn Said, although everybody just pretty much calls him Halfborn, they finished their fight with the Mistress of Misfortunes, sending her foe just he just goes tumbling away. So pretty much everybody in the city environs has just seen him be curb stomped by her. And go ahead.
Was half born, now half dead.
Maybe. When he is finally felled, he sort of tumbles from the sky like, a burning star and plunges to the ground. He's like shrinking back to relative normal size, even though he was like SM1 before he got hundreds of feet tall. And he finally crashes into the arena itself, or the floor of the arena where you guys are roughly at, with a titanic explosion of dirt and rock and sand. This sort of knocks some of you down. It's just the cool visual effect. You don't take any damage or anything like that. And he is very obviously broken, bleeding, clinging to life, all that stuff. And abruptly, Zat al-Dawahi is standing there as well. I have a minor elaboration from before, the previous one, where I established, okay, she showed up. She doesn't show up looking like this. She shows up looking like it shows on the boilerplate thing. So she looks very much like the Lady of Pain, if you are familiar with Planescape and Sigil. Sigil. I'm not sure exactly how they're supposed to pronounce that, but hey, it's Planescape. So she is garbed in ornate robes that have this strange metallic hue, and she has donned some sort of mask of some sort that contains a mantle of blades that's sticking out all over the place. Haruki, who now notices these sorts of things, will very quickly realize that her shadow is going the wrong way based on the position of the sun. And those of you that are conscious, which is unfortunately everybody but Ismir, will also realize that you've actually seen that mask before. It was sort of like on her throne at the Citadel of 10,000 Pearls, but it was like, behind her at I don't know what that's called, the top part of the throne, the headpiece or something. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it probably does have a name.
Yeah, because, they always have names for that stuff. And that creepy voice of hers that changes between words, where it's like it goes from the guy to the little girl to the adult woman to a different adult woman, such like that in mid-sentence, which is just would be so weird to hear.
Soul Catcher.
I may have borrowed from that. She declares, it's like, you were warned, Halfborn. You were warned to not raise a hand against my envoys, and instead you sought to slay them. You were offered a chance to ally with me, and instead you chose to fight. Thus is your reward. And her shadow abruptly falls over him, and it just covers him, which Haruki's probably the first person to go, wait, that's probably not supposed to. Oh. And as soon as her shadow covers him, he begins to scream as his flesh sort of bubbles and cracks and peels away. She holds up one of her hands, the palm facing towards him, and ribbons of light seem to be like ripped from his body, mostly from like eyes and mouth and nose and stuff like that. This light sort of coalesces into a hazy half image of Farouk himself, which is several inches away from his physical body, and it sort of compresses really sharply into this intensely bright globe of pure light that just sort of floats into her hands. I'm going to need from the 3 conscious people, so Ismir's like, woohoo! I'm going to need a fright check at -4 for all of you who are conscious. This is due to a combination of Farouk's terrifying screams. The frankly flaying of him alive. The weirdness of the fact that she's got that bizarrely expressionless mask, and the general freakiness. It's like, is that a soul that she's like ripping out? Okay, so what do we got here? It looks like Thorn and Haruki are both okay, but Brum failed by the fright check cap, I believe.
More than that.
Okay. You didn't add the minuses and stuff.
So he would have failed by 3.
All right. Well, what's the worst that can happen on a fail by 3? Is it anything more than you're just going to be stunned?
Yeah.
What was the where did they have that redo of it? Was that DFRPG?
That's DFRPG. Did I actually put that table? Hold on, let me check. I may have created the. No, it doesn't look like I did. I could swear I created the fright check for Dungeon Fantasy as a table.
Yeah,
probably did, then lost it. Okay, so you're just gonna be that's creepy for a little bit. So it's not gonna be anything bad like the hair turns white or you gain anything creepy weird. Zat al-Dawahi seems to glide back eventually. Her shadow sort of withdrawing away from Farouk, who now honestly he doesn't look he just looks more like basically like a steaming pile of meat that's sort of waiting for a butcher. You can barely tell that it was man-shaped now, although the whimpering that you can hear does indicate that he might still be alive, which is like, she sort of rotates in place. It occurs to you, oh, she seems to be hovering, not actually standing there. She sort of rotates in place, and she is looking in the upper area, where Farouk was seated, and Zyanra is up there. She's got the meteoric knife and everything. It's like, looks a little like she might be a little out of breath, like maybe she was running or something. And she's also watching this whole thing with really wide eyes. And Zat al-Dawahi announces, is like, your time has come, child. Do with this pretender to power what you will. And then she turns away. Zyanra is going to, because she's a cat person, has catfall. She's going to catfall down in the arena, and she's starting to advance towards Farouk. But then she's going to visibly pause and look to Thorn with a "what do I do?" sort of question in her eyes. That's right. I'm putting Thorn on the spot.
I was trying to think of that. What witty thing would he respond with? Now I know what he would recommend at this point. I just don't know how to say it roughly. Anyway, he's just going to say, oh, "Yeah, go ahead."
Well, with Thorn's permission, she's going to go over there and she's going to start stabbing him. Presumably, going to try to find where his head is. And start, stabbing. And it seems very cathartic to her for a little while, because she seems to have a lot of pent-up rage. Well, directed toward him. What is during all this wackiness? What is Haruki doing? Because Brum is sort of, momentarily stunned.
Haruki will check on Brum because, well, Brum's arm looks like it wants to fall off, and
Something
Yeah.
else for him to remember is Aramis and Ismir are both down.
Also that. Right, I was probably heading that way when the two of them showed up here, so I'll probably head back that way.
Okay. Do you have then I'm going to go for this person first.
Unconscious people first, I presume.
Yeah, there are two unconscious people.
I'll help Brum bandage his arm.
Yeah.
Let's
Did
see.
we actually?
Thorn,
Did he make that permanence roll for that arm already?
He has yet to do that.
yeah, he should probably do that.
Not permanent.
He'll be fine. So Thorn knows that Aramis went down hard during the fight, and Ismir was still conscious for a little bit and seemed to have just slowly just sort of passed out while he was trying to bind up his liver.
Well, I think Aramis was hit in the torso non-vitally, and Ismir
He was hit several times, I believe.
Ismir was hit in a bad place, so I'll probably start with him.
That's fine. Yeah, you can just sort of basically take over from Ismir.
Yeah, Ismir
started doing the first aid, and then he decided, I think I'm done. Hey, look at you. Yeah, while you're doing that, and as I stated, Zat al-Dawahi, she's sort of gliding away, and as she is, she's like growing larger and larger until she once more sort of looms over the city, which is probably pretty creepy. And when she speaks, it's booming so loudly that pretty much everybody can hear it in the city, even though you can definitely hear the sound of battle outside now that you're not swinging swords and clanging and such like that. And she declares very loudly, Farouk Halfborn is destroyed. I have taken his power unto me. And when she says his power, it's actually his voice.
There can be only one.
Which isn't creepy at all, right? And she's yield to me, and I shall be merciful. Continue to resist, and I shall wipe this wretched blight of a city from the face of the world.
But all those delights.
I think it was an ironic name. It might not have been an ironic name. So, how much were you pumping into those, Daniel? Because there are 1 and 3, 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, I did the 3 for both of them.
Okay, so Ismir has recovered 3 hit points, so I think that puts you at 0. Hey, Aramis is no longer at death check threshold. Sorry, I didn't realize you were going to adjust that. I was adjusting it in the tracker. And
I was like,
went,
-12. Oh, shit.
What are you talking about? It said negative 122 there for a second. I was like,
I
whoa, what
survived.
happened?
I'm still
You're
alive.
Like, what did Thorn do? So, something else for the lot of you to take into account is if you click on the party sheet, I have added the packages of all of your dead foes. Well, dead or no longer an actual issue.
Otherwise detained.
Well, you're not going to know it now, but afterwards, those that aren't that haven't like bled out or anything like that, but were just like subdued. For example, the elf guy and the spear guy. They are basically vegetables at this point as well. So what happened is when Farouk Halfborn died, that Gaius just sort of broke their brains. So I believe everybody is able to actually see the all of the equipment and such like that.
Yes.
So the buckler of warding was the one that the spear guy was using. Death's Reaper is the really big ass Nodachi. Grim Slaughter is the two-handed sword or the great sword. Clang is the shield that the dwarf was using. And Malice is the rapier that the elf was using.
Let's see if this works.
Oh no, Thorn seems to have claimed a sword. Ah, cool, and it totally left. That's awesome. I haven't actually played around with that a whole lot.
I don't
Did it not
see
did
it. It didn't come over to the combat sheet. But I dropped it on the inventory.
Yeah, but you do not have it equipped.
Oh, right. Forgot it did that.
You were just
Yeah,
carrying.
okay, that was it. Ah, okay.
That I believe it should. If you take any of those things, it should automatically calculate your the damage appropriately.
Okay.
But your skill and parry is not calculated quite correctly.
Probably point of order. I don't know how much it matters to most people, but the calculated damage is not converted to the dice plus adds properly. Well, I know not everybody actually uses that.
No, I was just using whatever. Well, you'd have to blame Fantasy Grounds.
That's more at Brian than you. I don't know how you would change that necessarily.
Yeah, and I believe I was chatting briefly with Ethan with regards to Aramis, and he had pointed out the fact that he didn't have any frickin' armor because he's a weirdo like that, and he was already talking about looting the elf dude for his stuff. I don't think anybody is going to have an issue with that, because I believe everybody's like, well, we actually have armor, so.
And also, I think all of us are getting the magical equipment that kind of complements our fighting styles.
That's entirely possible.
Malice was the rapier, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let me see. I can just toss that crap onto him.
Yeah, you might as well.
Hey, it worked. Sweet.
Well, he might as well grab a decent pot helm if he's gonna get a helmet.
He's not a very hot guy.
Work.
The Legionary helmet is size mod 1.
Oh, never mind.
It's very large.
He's got a big head, but it's not that big.
Yeah, so is the... Whoops, I misspelled that. I'll have to fix that. The Lorica segmentata is also SM1. And I think, yeah, scale leggings, scale sleeves, the studded leather skirt, they were all geared for a very large lizard man. The dwarven size stuff doesn't matter because Brian ducked out. But the dwarven size stuff, I think everybody can probably wear it, but you would have to have it adjusted because, well, it's made for short, wide people.
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably fit, but kind of to your, midriff.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite of what the hell is his name? Dude in damn it. Two Towers. When he had the male hauberk on and it went to
Right.
Gimli. Yeah, it's a little light, or what is it, little tight in the chest or something like that, and it's several feet of extra stuff. But yeah, so feel free to raid as appropriate because I think the Nodachi is probably that's the Death Reaper. That's probably the one that Haruki would pick up.
It's huge.
It is oversized, yes.
We don't have a bag of holding.
It's Titanic, so it uses as noted, it uses the two-handed sword skill, but it's freaking humongous. So it counts as an oversized weapon, which is in Dungeon Fantasy 127, page 27.
So we are identifiably still in the city, I presume. So
yes, it's still inside the city. Yeah.
Where were the camels? We
They
didn't take them into the palace.
Yeah, no. They were like there would have been a stable sort of thing.
Does Zyanra return the meteoric iron dagger back to me?
After she's done and is absolutely 100% certain that the half-born is not getting up, and then she probably needs a bath really badly.
Oh, don't. Ah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, oh wait, no, oh.
I wasn't gonna go there, but that's really funny. Yeah. Yeah. So, you have. Let's see. So, Ismir is likely still unconscious initially, but since your healing is going to bring him to zero hit points, that means he's going to at least be able to come conscious for a while, or in a while. Aramis is most definitely quite unconscious because he's pretty beat up. So the question there is, how do you proceed from there? And you did 2 of the healings?
Yeah, just 2.
So something else to take in mind is Brum was actually injured. Beyond that, Thorn and Haruki you guys are fine. You're just a little tired from fatigue.
Yeah, and I've only got so many fatigue points to spend on healings.
Trues.
We do have an unidentified potion that could be useful to some injured person, but we would be experimenting again.
Right? So we can give it to him.
Or Aramis.
You're trying to
Aramis
kill
is unconscious, so we could give it to him. And if something happens, well, his character's not here, so it's his fault. Or player isn't.
Well, I don't know where that's actually located at the moment. You might not even have it on you. It might be in your saddle bags.
Oh, is that didn't come from here? That came from the ambush.
Yeah, that came from the
Okay.
ambush. That's correct.
So it may actually be a healing potion.
It may be, yeah. Yeah, because these dudes, the only thing they really had was some each one of them had a magic thing of some sort, a weapon or a shield, and then whatever their armor was.
Well, as far as next steps go, I'm thinking we probably need to find the camels. We need to park the unconscious people somewhere relatively safe. And then maybe get to doing what mercs do.
All right, so you're basically thinking exfiltrate with the unconscious people, although honestly, by the time you are fully prepped and ready to exfiltrate, Ismir may be reviving, so he's like not doing great, but he can at least shamble on his own.
Well, it's possible we could bring the camels here.
I can do first aid on Erasmus, right?
Who?
Um,
Who's Erasmus?
what's his name?
Aramis? I actually
Aramis,
don't
yeah.
think you can because you got, and those are, probably be Brian more familiar with GURPS magic than me. I think once you cast magic, you can't do a first aid check. Am I wrong in that?
That is a thing in a game system.
Sorry, run that by me again.
Once you have done magic on someone, minor heal, whatever kind of heal, then you can't do a first aid check on them. For the
I don't think there's any rules that say otherwise. But it would make some sense that the magic sort of fixes the magic. Well, the magic stabilizes the wound, so you don't need to make a first aid roll. But I guess you could still treat shock, even though you've done some magic healing.
So what is the, let's see, the max you can get at this tech level is 3, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Then the first aid wouldn't be of any benefit then, because you already did 3.
Assuming it counts that way, but it would make sense if it did.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be where it's like you look at it, you look at him, and you can see that the injuries that you would normally treat seem to have already started to heal over through the magic or application of magic.
Okay.
I guess there's a case if you do the whole spend half an hour treating shock. Magic doesn't exactly fix shock. So I guess there's probably a case for the
point.
Half an hour treating shock first aid roll.
Right, but the shock is the result of an injury that no longer exists.
Well, the injury still exists.
Not the same severity.
Just means the wound is less deep than it was. It's still a wound.
Not that I'm trying to make the case one way or the other.
It's just stopped bleeding, that's all.
I think it's going to depend on whether you guys want to stay here for 30 minutes.
Probably not.
Yeah,
so let's get onto a safe location.
A little out in the open, and
so you will want to, at least on the party sheet, take whatever you're actually taking because, well, you might not be able to carry it all.
How do you
what is the Lorica segmentata?
That is a Roman. It's a breastplate thing. not breastplate, corselet. I can't remember anything.
It's
body. It's torso armor.
Segmented plate armor.
But it's also really large.
Think Roman Legionnaire.
Think
Brum
Roman Legionnaire about 9 foot tall.
Brum, are you taking the clang?
Probably not.
No.
Oh, someone should at least hold on to it. I'll carry the clang.
Why would Brum not use clang?
Holy cow, that thing is awesome.
Brum's happy with his shit.
Unless Brum's player forgot what it does.
There you go.
So what's it do?
Oh. It increases its DB over time, and then so every successive block it gets better at it, and then it as long as you're successively blocking, but then when you stop it returns back to normal blocking, and then it also gets louder and does more damage when you shield bash.
Who's taking Death's Reaper?
That's clang. That is the Nodachi, the very
Titanic.
large Nodachi.
Yeah, I'm going to be studying that.
Take it off the...
Don't tell me what to do. You ain't the boss of me.
And then what armor does Aramis need?
Yeah, I already had him. I already dragged the leather armor from the elf guy on there. He's got the leggings, the sleeves, the leather armor, and the leather hat. Well, leather helm. It's not super great, but he relies mostly on maneuverability, so that's probably going to end up pushing him really close to light encumbrance, which he's not going to like.
With clang, can Brum not use its ability? Like turn it off?
I suppose.
Because if you can't turn it off, he's probably not all that interested.
Turn what off?
Its noisiness as it charges up.
Curious, why does that matter?
Well, Brum does a lot of blocking and stuff. So if he's going to like alert, everyone within a vicinity, it ceases to be as useful.
If you're blocking with it, you're already in a fight.
Well, Ismir will hold on to it until you want it, or at least I'll put it back in the party pool once we get back to the Camels.
No, it's fine. Doesn't want it. Okay, so I guess we have nicked all of the stuff from there that is going to be taken.
I'm going down the list because it has costs on it.
Yeah.
What the stuffs, the armors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because most of them are in this. Or most of it's from that. Did I do it? Basics? No. Yeah, martial arts weapons. No, that's not it.
Well, it's not important. I'm
Might
looking.
be important to me.
I'm looking for money, so
It looks like
basic low-tech
the
armor and
axe is
weapons.
fine quality, it's balanced, and it's got weapon bond.
Well, weapon bond is no longer useful because that person who had weapon bond is dead.
Yeah, I know, but at least it's got fine quality and balance, which means it's going to be worth more than what we could sell that for some money.
Well, that's the question. Do we want to pool up on that, or is everybody just going to take what they take and sell it on their own?
Should tie everything in a big bag and make Haruki carry it.
Haruki, can you do that for us, please?
He's like,
as he's likely holding Aramis, he's like, "Really, guys? Really?
I've got Aramis over one shoulder,
and a bag over the other shoulder. I mean, come on, you could do it.
It'll be great if you get into a fight and he'll swing the first weapon he has. Oh no, that's Aramis.
No, you'll swing the bag of stuff and you'll end up pummeling the guy.
That grenade is probably with the that's also one of the things that came from the ambush. That's probably with
we got that earlier. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, the armor is nice and all, but it just
Haruki might be happy with his.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's anything special other than large.
Well, he's a large fellow, and it's hard getting replacements.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking is just in case, it's not, in the off chance that my armor becomes irreparably damaged, it might be worth having,
Well, I suppose if you want to take as much of it as you can always send Thorn off by himself. We can try to go find the Camels and lead them here. That won't end badly at all.
Big Japanese dude dressed in Lorica segmentada. That just looks like, wait.
Would it actually be better than what you already have?
No, what he's got is not better. I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, I'm not, it's good. It's not so much as better as just
other. Well, it's entirely possible you can theoretically find something to tote the stuff with if you spend some time poking around.
Well, assuming nothing else happens, and Thorondil is going to go try to fetch the Camels.
And that helmet's probably got a huge dent in it.
That's probably true, yes. Oh, right. Mark, if you look at your inventory, I added the thing, what is it? The Destiny item.
Yep. I see it.
Cool. Okay, so let's see. So Zyanra can point you in it should be in that direction.
She could help.
Well, she can't fly though.
Well, I don't necessarily need to fly. I don't know how far away they are, but
that's actually a really good point. I don't know how far they are either. They're over there.
Yeah, I just didn't want to go solo necessarily, so she can come.
Okay, so is that the plan then? You're gonna go off and...
Yeah, that lets the injured get some time to rest. Haruki can cover them.
All right. So how are you planning on doing? Are you just blatantly going out in the street? Are you trying to be sneaky? I don't know.
Well,
does it sound like there's still battle going on?
Hey,
is there still fighting?
Zadawahi told them to stand down, so clearly they're going to stand down. They're not going to fight. Who would do that? I'm presuming her forces actually know who we are.
Well, you also have a cat.
We have been seen around town, and also I have a cat person with me. I think we'll be fine probably to walk around town, and if there are random minotaurs and whatnot, we'll just deal with that as we get to it, I suppose. We can easily enough get away from them.
Okay. Since you're doing that, Ismir, I believe you are the best first aider, and I do not think that Brum has actually had first aid done to him or any magic either.
He has not.
So, so you and Zyanra and Thorn depart, pretty quickly out beyond the arena. The city is in complete chaos. To probably no surprise, there are still little pockets of resistance taking place. It definitely looks to Thorn like the locals are they've kind of gone I don't want to say mad, but they have definitely risen up and are going absolutely postal on like the city guards and officials and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Anyone that is chained or locked up or anything like that will no longer be chained or locked up as we pass.
So noted. But you will definitely see like hey, there's a little battle over there that's ongoing with there's 3 or 4 of the minotaurs who seem like to be trying to hold their own against 3 times that number of cat people who are. It's definitely an example of strength versus dexterity, or strength fighters versus dexterity fighters. And you'll see at least one instance where there's like there's this minotaur who was freaking swarmed by the local citizens, and he went down. He died, but he went down hard, and so as a result, there's like just a crap ton of local peasants and stuff like that, or peasants isn't the right word, but you know what I mean, that are just like laid out because they've like been, that guy's like been cut in half, or at the waist, and that dude over there, did he? I think he just got smushed to death, like he's punched to death or something. But yeah, it's very, very ugly. For what? Oh yeah, so Ismir made a first aid check against humans. You made by 3, so that is a success by 1 against dwarves, I believe. So Brum will definitely get the 1 point back, and you will need to make another check for the shock stuff. Remember there, Paul, since you're rolling human and he's a dwarf, you're going to be at -2.
Are they really that different?
Well, hey, I'm just using the rules as they are. All right, so then it's 1d -3, I believe.
Yep.
Minimum 1, and if it's a 1, then so just the 1. So it wasn't any. That's usually the way it goes. But hey, Brum's got 1 point back, so that's better than no points back, right?
Well, at least he's not bleeding.
Does that uncripple the arm? That should uncripple the arm.
Does it? I thought it was he needed
or does
to be
that
healed up
actually
to
do
max.
That? Right.
I'm just guessing. I'm not positive if that's exactly how that works. Because I can never remember. Never, ever. In the process of you making your way across there, you will encounter a band of the cat people that are led by someone that you do actually recognize as like the captain or something like that. Zyanra. That name's not going to be confusing at all, is it? And she will be somewhat surprised to see Zyanra there, and will take a moment, and not quite initially recognize you. Then it's like, okay, but because Zyanra is like covered in blood. I guess it wouldn't be ichor. Presumably, it's not ichor. It's just it.
It's pronounced ichor. Whatever.
I understood that reference. Yeah, so she will, see the two of you going about, and will, basically come over there to know, what are you doing? How did you get here? Shouldn't you be? Actually, she probably doesn't know the specifics.
When did we see her last?
She is the captain of Zat al-Dawahi's guard.
Yeah,
so
I remember
you would have
that.
seen her at the so she is going to be aware that you guys came here.
She knows we were sent here, so
that is correct. Wasn't
We could
expecting
use
to
some
see
aid.
you. You're not there. Be quiet, you.
What do you mean I'm not there?
It's Thorn and
you're back
Zyanra.
at the arena.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Right. So she asked how we got here.
Well, mostly she's like, what are you doing? Because, you're walking through the streets, and she wasn't expecting that.
Right. Well, we're going to fetch our camels, and we're going to loot and pillage like proper mercenaries.
Right. I see. Where is the rest of you? Like the pretty one and the tall one and the one with the file.
I'm not the pretty one.
I figured I would be the pretty one.
None of you guys have Aramis's advantage, which I realize long after the fact that I should have been messing around with some more. He's got the appearance handsome.
I will inform her that they are at the arena tending their wounds that they suffered there. And if you'd like to go spit on the remains of Farouk ibn Said, feel free to drop by.
Zyanra's got a really big grin at that. She's like, he's definitely dead.
Oh, I don't think he can come back from that.
Zyanra will pause. It's like, is the arena secure? We need a location for to set up triage for our injured. And we can't use any of the mosques because of what the Halfborn did to them.
How was the troubles around the arena itself? Is it relatively secure?
It could be made more secure. It's not super terrible.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. It obviously wasn't particularly super safe either. I mean, Haruki's like you.
It's at least open and defensible, and probably useful in that regard. So I will say that.
Because I suspect that you're going to have had at the arena, you're going to have had some people who are at least started to enter, and then they see Haruki, and they go, they reconsider it because there's not enough of them to swarm him like the fake zombies in that World War Z movie.
We have a Haruki.
So she will, Zyanra will issue some quick instructions to one of her subordinates, who is going to take off at a run. These cat people are pretty fast. You're like, oh wow, okay. Yeah, their move is like 7, so they're pretty fast. And she will also task a couple others to make sure you get to accompany you, to make sure you get to the stables, since the Dread Mistress obviously has uses for you. And she will look in the look off to the right, and you can actually sort of see off in the distance a crazy tall Zat al Dawahi sort of cruising down the avenue. Not in this direction, but it's like she's like higher than most of the buildings, and not quite, staring and going all Godzilla with the laser eyes or anything.
I'm gonna pretend I don't see that.
All of the cat people will definitely look at her, and you're not actually sure what kind of expression that is that they have there. But Zyanra will all right, so accompany them, get their saddles, and we will set up the arena as a triage center, and you split off.
We split off.
It will not take you particularly long to get to the saddles. You are going to not the saddles. The saddles.
Well, the saddles are next to the camels anyway.
You're gonna get to the stables. You're gonna see some buildings on fire. Some more people. Oh, hey, that looks like one of the officials that you remember laughing in Farouk's court. He's definitely not laughing now, because it looks like somebody strung him up, and he doesn't look like he was in a great shape when he died. The cat people are pretty quiet with you. They actually seem what's the word? Uneasy? You get to the stables without real incident, and you can retrace your steps, or at least go quicker with the camels. There was at least 2 people or 2 corpses outside the stables that looked like they got kicked to death or something. And Haruki's camel is just, he's the only one that's out, but it looks like he may have kicked the little gate open, and
I need
it
animal
broke.
bond now. Even better, I'm gonna be Samurai dressed in Lorca Segmentata riding a camel,
freaking camel,
a battle camel.
Yeah, that's it. That's going to be your dog for this.
Damn
for
it!
this
I wish you
campaign.
had said that. If you'd done that, then I should have totally changed the Nodachi to like a Makaweedle, just to be all sorts of really weird. Where everybody's like, that guy is absolutely a PC. Because look at him. He's a Japanese dude wearing Roman armor, riding a camel, wielding a Makaweedle.
I think you'll need to get a buff camel, though.
Well, it is a buff camel. It's a magically enhanced camel.
And when you enter, you're not positive, but you think you heard it say "finally" under its breath. all the other cat people except Zyanra, who's sort of gotten accustomed to that, they're going to be like looking around for whoever it is that said that.
Just look at the camels and say, well, it looks like you got the situation under control here. Good job, soldier. Let's move out.
Okay, so back at the arena, a number of the Zat al-Dawahi's cat people, or cat person soldiers will enter. They will probably let's see who are they gonna. I think Brum is the person who's got the most visible soldiery or soldiery mentality, mindset, whatever. They're gonna at least come in there and go, Captain Zyanra told us to set up a triage here. If that's okay.
Right, of course. Set up a triage.
Okay, so the sergeant there is basically going to start quickly issuing some instructions to them. He's going to have a couple of his guys, or guys, gals, whatever, cat persons, to seek out some shovels to try to relocate that stinking pile of cooked meat over there, and get it clear. The rest are quickly setting up what is obviously, to those of you who actually have the soldier skill or soldiery backgrounds, this is most definitely a decent military triage. Soon after that, a couple more of the soldiers will enter, and they are escorting this positively ancient crone of a cat person. I mean, she's just like you're like, what is she, like 500 years old? And she sort of starts telling them, okay, set out, do this, do that, set up the most critical here, and start bringing the patients in, and then she's going to start taking a sort of walking through and checking you guys out as well. It's like, are any of you injured as well? Well, he's clearly injured, as she's pointing to Aramis.
I could use some help.
Those guys in that pile were here before we got here.
At some point, Haruki will, during the setup, is like Haruki will, talk with Brum about, hey, Brum's, I must, say how grateful I am that you have, what you have done. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten.
You act like he's going to lose his arm.
What exactly are you talking about? What sacrifice?
He looks down at your arms like,
Was he aware of that? I don't know if he's aware of it.
This?
What?
Nah.
Was I not?
It is only a flesh wound. It will recover. I still have use of the arm.
But if it was not for your timely interaction,
Oh, right. Well, then things may have been different, but let's just praise the fact that things turned out for the best. Don't think anything of it.
Right, they're being guys. It's one of those like, dude, you saved my life. I did.
Dude.
I did save your life. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I am sure you would have done the same were the situation reversed.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have got my arm broken.
I would have had the other guy break his arm against mine.
I don't know. It did like 18 points of damage.
Yeah, it was.
That's pretty badass. If it wasn't for the,
it was pretty. Yeah, You took that.
If it wasn't for the shield, it would have been a sever. The covered DR of the shield meant it wasn't a lopping off.
Didn't you almost lose an arm before? Like back at the ziggurat?
Yeah. I can't remember if it was an arm. No, it was Zistral who nearly lost the leg.
No, that's right.
Yeah, Zistral losing a leg was nearly losing a leg was the thing. It crippled it, but he didn't lose it, if I recall.
So the old crone is gonna check all of you guys out, and she smells like a really, really old cat. And she's gonna sort of make some weird noises, mostly mumbles like, okay, yeah, here you go, eat this, just see what. Nope. And everyone's like, nope, I'm fine with. I don't need help after all. And she's gonna sort of gesture to one of the people that is sort of following her around, who's actually a human, not a cat person. And that person's carrying this fairly large box, and she opens it up and roots around in there and pulls out a bracelet that she puts on. The old woman does this, and then she basically will cast the crap. I can't remember what it's called. Give me a second. I have to look it up. It is the major healing, which is 8 points to the 3 people who are injured. I guess she doesn't need to do well. She spent 8 on Brum, but it looks like he was only 7 down.
She shouldn't have to spend 8. She should only be at most 4, because major heal's double.
Yeah, I know, but it's what I meant was you recover the 8 hit points.
Gotcha.
She's only using the 4. So
So Brum's arm's working.
Recover 8. Brum is back to fully healed, I believe. And Aramis is 8 better. So he is at 14 instead of 22 down. So he's still in the negatives, but that's okay. His PC isn't here. Or his player isn't here. And she's going to check you out and go, yeah, you should be fine from here. Just learn to dodge better. And this one nearly died as, she's poking at Aramis.
Totally needs to be a box of dirt. She just rubs it in the wound.
And about that point, some of the injured start, being either carried in here or filed in here, or file in here, based off of if they're walking wounded or something like that. From let's see. I know Brum is a soldier. Does
Haruki is a soldier.
Ismir do Ismir and Haruki both have the soldier skill?
Yes. Haruki does.
Okay. Ismir may not. I'm not sure.
I do not.
Okay. Yeah, that sort of makes sense. You're not really a soldier per se. But both Brum and Haruki are probably a little surprised at the lack of casualties, because this is not a small city, and it seems like they took a lot less casualties than you would expect from, an assault like this. So, meta note, what I ended up doing is I actually did set up the mass combat stuff, and basically there were 2 rounds of actual combat feisting, and in both rounds, Zat al-Dawahi's forces did an all-out attack, which you're like, that's pretty brutal, but they had surprise. So the first round, the Farouk Halfborn's forces had to do a rally for round one because they were, completely surprised, and they basically lost their commander in the first round during the equivalent of the misfortunes of war. So their next commander attempted another rally in order, when they had the possibility of, we're going to lose this, but we're going to turn it into a Pyrrhic victory. Unfortunately, Zat al-Dawahi's forces suffered only 10% casualties with 2 rounds of all-out attack, while Farouk's suffered 75.
Oof.
Yeah, and as if you recall in mass combat, if you win a victory, you have your casualties. So that means Zat al-Dawahi's forces suffered 5% casualties while inflicting 75%. So yeah, that was a crushing defeat. So it looks like everyone is at least fully operational. It is going to be, let's see, at least an hour before Thorn will be back. So you guys can probably adjust your fatigues as appropriate. I don't remember how much you recover. Is it like 1 every 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Or 1 every 5 if you're fit.
So it's entirely possible you guys are completely recovered of fatigue after an hour.
How much do you recover every so many minutes?
So 1 every 10, unless you are fit, in which case it's 1 every 5.
So all my fatigue is recovered.
So Thorn, you will arrive outside the arena. They're not going to let you take the camels in there because it's turned into, a triage. The other PCs may actually have been sort of pushed out of the arena once you're operational and upright. And they're like, yeah, you can leave your the unconscious pretty one here. We've got other injured to look after as well. But they will definitely be all for you sort of standing guard, making sure that because there are guards already posted, but you can never have enough when you have the what would that be, the hospital. You don't want crazy people to overrun your hospital.
All right, then Brum will do just that. He will leave them to do what they need to do, and he will make himself useful, standing guard.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Sounds like something Haruki would be inclined to assist with.
Either that or, searching streets for injured and helping out there.
They are not mutually exclusive.
This is also true. So the 4 of you will definitely have hooked back up. Zyanra is present as well. She's probably cleaned up a little bit by now because there was probably like some water there at the stable. She could dunked herself in. So Daniel mentioned looting. That is something I don't know how I want to do. Because there's a couple of different ways. He had mentioned the after the end thing where you make a scrounging check, but I'm not entirely sure if that's how I want to work it because I didn't recreate any scrounging results tables. So I am taking recommendations or thoughts. If you're like, hey, yeah, we want to be proper mercenaries and help loot this city because, well, it's a bad guy. And that's what mercenaries do when you've helped take a city.
Is there not a dungeon fantasy loot table?
There's the treasure tables. But beyond that...
There's the treasure tables, but they include magic items and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure there's a table that is just like loots, gold, and whatnot.
Well, I think
Do
they
you know
do
what
have
book it is?
non-magic tables in the I think it's in the treasure book.
Yeah, in the treasure table, it has it split up like, it's like spices, fibers and fabrics, other materials, household items, garments, jewelry, gems, containers, accoutrements, books, maps, scrolls. There's a whole shit ton of weapons, armor, concoctions, unusual items, stuff like that.
Well, in the
is it the dungeon book?
It might be, but the random treasure generator thing that I linked,
right?
Yeah, whenever it was, I think you can actually specify no magic items and stuff like that, or specify categories to roll on. So maybe you can just generate a whole bunch of loots that way.
Well, the trick isn't so much the nature of the find itself, but how much.
Probably going to be based on our perception of how well we can also scrounge and other things. Like, can I use scrounging as part of the looting?
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure how that's going to work in that case. Yeah,
scrounging is finding something to fit a particular purpose. So if you have something that you need a tool for, you'd roll scrounging to find something improvised that you could use as a tool.
I'm scrounging to find something to fill my pocket.
Actually, I'm looking at the after the end scrounging results, and I think that will actually work. Probably as is, because it's not specific.
Yeah, but you have the results.
Yeah,
the results table is what I'm looking at, because it's like ammo.
Well, yeah, there are a couple of results that are maybe not. Ammo is clearly not. The vehicle is not necessarily useful, but those are also on the fringes of the results. The rest of the results are probably perfectly usable.
Well, ammo could be crossbow bolts or arrows.
Yeah, but you're not going to find that many. Well, I mean, I guess you might. But no, I think the issue with the after the end scrounging results is those are based on a specific location, not an entire city. Yeah. Now, granted, you're not going to look over the entire city. You're only going to look over so many locations, but...
Yeah, because I did look through that treasure generator thing that you had referenced there, Brian, and it's like, I do like it, but it's not particularly exciting for fantasy grounds. If like I go, okay, well, you make a roll, and we or I just click on the treasure types and roll it there. It's just nobody sees the results. You know what I mean?
Okay. You could then roll and then cut and paste the results into a story note and share that in your fantasy grounds.
Well, mostly I was thinking of it more from the player. Each player like rolls something, and then that determines. And I just couldn't figure out exactly how I wanted to do that. because I do like the scrounging thing, because, well, in this case it's sort of scrounging in this case, because you are just basically looting the crap out of something. And I think they did tweak how scrounging works a little bit after the end, where it's just theoretically you're like, hey, yeah, I'm looting this, I'm going to try to scavenge something that's useful in this location, and then you make the roll based off of whatever the modifiers are, and then roll on the table. And I don't dislike that, but that does sort of, it's not super. Yeah, it's not really exciting.
That's not this particular thing is different. What I'm probably going to recommend is just use the base part of that table. So basically, you're just making a scrounging roll, and based on your margin of success, you get minor, major, or amazing finds, and then we can just determine what those actually are later. And you could just roll that for the entire city and scale accordingly.
All right, so how does that work? The minor find is success by 0 to 4. Major finds are 5 or greater, and wait, what?
Amazing.
Where's amazing? For a critical success, okay. For a critical success, use major finds for margin 0 to 4, or amazing for 1 of 5 or greater. Okay.
And you could use the table that's below there and decide what penalties to apply to it, if any, based on looted, semi-looted, looted, whatever.
Well, ultimately, it determines, it's like, roughly what kind of location are you guys thinking about hitting? You potential murder hobos, you.
Oh, we're not out there to murder people, but the fact that I have not received any, from a Code of Arabic standpoint, I have not received any hospitality whatsoever from the city. I have no compunction about looting it. So I would seek more of the higher end areas to basically try to get the most out of it.
Yeah, Thorn was probably going to hit the high ground in here, because that's probably the last place foot mounted people are going to get to.
So Thorn's going to go up here.
Start from the top and work his way down.
Everybody else is like, dude, really?
I could take one other if I had to.
Take Haruki.
Okay. One other than Haruki.
I'll go with you.
Okay. So, how does that sound to everybody? I know not everybody has scrounging. I think, there's only technically 2 people have scrounging.
I don't. I have search
I thought
only.
I did.
So then just roll off default.
No, I guess I don't.
Damn, Brum's good.
Yeah,
well,
I noticed that. Brum is one of crazy good.
It's one of those I meant to do, because being a mercenary type, he would need that, and I don't think I ever got around to it. But I've got extra character points. I'm going to fix that real quick.
I was going to say, in this case, it is theoretical to, if you guys are going to be spending a great deal of time doing this, like most everybody else probably is, I would allow someone who does not have it to spend a point to gain it at whatever 1 point is. Brum absolutely does not need to increase his, because I think you're like at 15 or 16.
16.
Jeez. Yeah, he's crazy good at it.
I'm at 12. I'm average.
So no, that's above average.
Well, that's trained.
It's above average. Average is 10.
Well, that's a skill level, not a attribute level.
Okay, so now I need to figure out what the penalties and stuff like that are going to be.
Right.
I suspect it's probably going to be classified as semi-looted, simply based off of the fact that there's an ongoing battle and such like that. So
semi-looted, not residential because we're headed more toward the upper, so possibly commercial.
Would it be commercial? I don't know if it'd be commercial or military.
Maybe
Regardless,
military.
It's
military
probably
makes
around.
sense.
It's probably around -3 then, but the usual taking extra time probably applies.
Well, yeah.
I don't actually know if you can do that with Scrounging.
I think that's normally allowed, but in this particular case, it's kind of an abstraction, so it probably more so would be allowed. The other thing to consider here is the stash rating. So basically, if you make that or less, you find a stash. Which, if we're going with the military police one, that's 5 or less.
Well, I think what I'm going to do in this case is just go with, it's semi-looted, but if you're taking the extra time, it's just going to be a straight scrounging roll in that case.
Well, okay.
They're going to sort of cancel one another out. So Haruki's clearly not super experienced with this stuff. You probably found
never looted a place in this way.
Yeah, you're like, oh, hey, I found a table.
I found, some fruit that didn't get trampled to mush.
This is true. It's like one of those, he gets in there because he's super hungry because of the monozone stuff, and it's just like he forgets to continue because like, ooh, good tasty fruit.
He finds lots. Nom, 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 nom. He finds lots of consumables, but he doesn't come out with them.
So it looks like Ismir is going to have gotten the major find and stash effect. What's stash do?
So that's just like a specific stash. It's on the next page.
Oh, yeah, it's on the next page.
Intentionally hidden, so he found like a secret treasure room or something.
I'm looking forward to see what Brum's gonna roll. This is where he's gonna either roll like an 18 or a 3. Oh wow!
Or down the middle.
Super great. You were like minor find. So it looks like Ismir found the best results. Now I got to figure out what the best results are going to be. I should like make notes somewhere.
Yeah, that's something that could be figured out later. I know there was a thing with the wealth level of the city or whatever. Did you actually look at that?
Yeah, it wasn't
the
really
city
helpful.
stats. Actually, you could use starting wealth as a basis. No, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I looked at the city stats, and I figured that the city wealth would probably split according to the location. Like the majority of the city was considered struggling, while the palace area was likely filthy rich because Farouk was an asshole.
I have an idea that might be easy enough to work with. What if you did the margin of success equals trading character points for money?
Possibly. That's an interesting thought.
In which case, Ismir found a lot.
Well, what that would end up being is it's also a stash. That's a thought. Paul, roll 3d6. I want to see what this would be. Just 3d6.
In the box or in?
I don't care. It's fine. Out in the open's fine. So that's going to be 352. So, because it's a stash, accoutrements with 1 enchantment and 2 decoratives. Make a note of that because it's a stash.
You want me to make a note of that, or are you making the note of that?
I'm making a note of that. Sorry. Brian, when you ran, I don't know, when you had us roll in the in the treasure tables, do you remember why that happened, or what it, what we actually did to have to do that?
Wow, that's a while ago.
I know.
That was when we first hit Defiant. So I think once we cleared the castle out the first time, I think he just had us roll.
Wow, accoutrements are weird.
That could have been it.
That is not what I thought accoutrements was.
And that's going to predate our YouTube, so we're not going to be able to go back and check.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying, isn't it?
We really should have started that sooner.
I don't know why we started in the first place, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm glad I did. Sometimes I'm like, ah!
I just like that all those sessions that we've done, they are forever now. It's kind of cool.
Until the massive EMP wipes everything out.
Yeah, the burn.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll have to link at that. Let's see. So, well, that kind of leaves Haruki out of getting anything. That's not fair.
Well,
no, I got food. Munch.
You could say minimum 1.
Well, I don't know how much CP's traded for money actually is.
I am gonna check on that real quick because I was curious.
I think it's 1 per starting wealth.
I think it's half.
I think half is for signature gear.
That may be true. Well, let's see. Trading points for money, blah, blah, blah. Each point yields 10% of the campaign's average starting wealth.
Damn, that's low.
I thought it was higher than that.
Not much. Okay, well that's weird. Paul, roll another 3D, please. Accoutrements are weird. So you like 3 5s, don't you?
But now I got a 6. I don't know if higher is better or floor is better in this case.
Really doesn't make any sense.
Reroll.
I just go backwards. Etching kit. Okay. Why would that be? I'm gonna have to figure out what the stash is. Major fine stash. Crap. Did I? Okay, I didn't.
Yeah, whatever it was, if you're using the stashes as is, and after the end, it would have been intentionally hidden, as it says. So it's something that somebody didn't want someone to find.
Which means it was a very good stash.
Well, hopefully.
It could be a snake.
What are the chances that it's going to be a snake while I'm GMing?
I didn't say there was a good chance of that.
Yeah, I have to put some thoughts into that. So let's see. So major find is yeah, because okay, yeah, I should stop looking at that table. Damn it, I'm getting distracted on tables. Tables are evil. Does that work for everybody? The character points traded for money based off of your margin of success. I mean, I can come up with something. If we can come up with something else, I'm totally cool with that.
You could combine that with assuming the wealth level of the city and expand it from there if you wanted, but that's probably reasonable.
Well, I'm not sure what the actual wealth level of the city would be because it's definitely...
if we're searching the palace, you consider it two separate cities. One of them's wealthy, one of them isn't.
Right.
But whatever.
Okay, so I guess I could just add this, add the wealth modifier to your roll for the margin of success. So, for example, Haruki would be success by 1. Ismir would be success by 11. That sort of thing.
That's not what I was thinking, but you could do that too.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking, well, it's based on the starting wealth. Oh, well, it said it's based on the average starting wealth. But if you modified that for the starting wealth for a particular wealth level.
So the average starting wealth. Let's see. Let's see. Huh. I was hoping you guys would have, we should do it this way, and just do it that way and then move on.
Well, you could move
on. What are you guys doing? Not having not doing your job, says the GM, who's trying to pass off the job to somebody else. Oh wow, they have multiple scavengers. Damn it! Getting distracted.
Stop it.
Yeah, I had to minimize the thing. Okay, so it's 10% starting wealth. What would that end up being per character point?
I thought it was 2,000, or well, it'd be 200 in that case, I think. Actually, I have trading points. I think I My trading character points ended up at 1,000 for 2 points, which would suggest it would be 500 per.
That's going to be a basic, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, so the amount you start, that's page 26, and then you, page 27, right, 27. Let's see, 27, we are TL3. It looks like it's 1,000.
Yeah, see, that doesn't, that's half. That is not 10%. I don't know how this ended up the way it did. But we don't have to settle that right now.
Well, there's actually a GURPS-calculator.com/generators/treasure you might want to check out.
Yeah, that's what Brian had sent me. That's the Dungeon Fantasy treasure tables, which I started trying to. I think Brian did the same. Started trying to
Until you get
do
a laser
those
bow?
in Fantasy Ground. No, I started trying to mess with those, create those in Fantasy Grounds, but they are a lot more complicated than they look. Simply, just when you're trying to build them in Fantasy Grounds.
Well, what I'm saying though is you can. It's a website, and you can actually generate your own random loot in the website.
Yes, that's why I was saying earlier to Brian, but that's not really exciting for the video, but that's fine. I'm probably going to generate something on there for the stash to figure out what that was. Okay, so that would be 100. Is that correct, Daniel? 100 per character point. If it's character points per for money.
Yeah, I guess that would be.
So Ismir would theoretically discover 700 GURPS worth of stuffs. Thráin would get 200. Brum would get 400.
That is how that would work.
That seems a little low, but
it does. It seems really low.
What is this?
I just rolled. I set the loot's generator to maximum value of an item to the starting wealth, so $1,000. Just generated 20 items.
I don't see food on there.
Because you ate it.
Oh, okay.
1 bundle of monkey leather. That is all sorts of weird.
And this is a special stash.
No, this isn't. This isn't what I did. This is Brian did this. That's interesting.
Yeah, it looks like what they did in GCA was weird.
So yeah, you did something wrong. Bad.
It's unfortunate.
Okay, well, I'm going to continue poking and try to figure out that. I'm just going to presume I have made notes of. I should probably go ahead and annotate success by, fail by, stuff like that for my notes in case it matters.
As part of the special stash, if maybe I can roll to see if the stars are in alignment, maybe I can get a very nice dagger. That
you have a very nice dagger.
Well, one that returns too.
You ask too much.
Yeah, it's going to return. It's going to return and stab you.
Point first.
I'm going to catch this. Ah! Fuck, it's in my hand. That would actually be an awesome match. Yeah, you totally find a dagger that'll return to you.
No, that's fine. It's all right. I know.
You changed your mind?
I'm changing my mind. I know how you guys are thinking right now. Yeah.
Right. So I've made some. I have made some notes with regards to that. I'm probably going to continue poking around, try to find out if there's a decent, something online. If you have any additional ideas down the road later. Currently, we're going to presume you have discovered some stuff. Haruki's eaten all of his stuff. I guess he stumbled into the kitchen and nobody had raided it yet. So he went, "Ooh, that smells good." And when you guys showed up with your loots, he's sitting there as he, eating something.
Yeah, but he's happy.
It's like, "Hey guys, I would offer you some food, but well, there's not a whole lot left."
I seem to have ate it all.
Okay, so after there's obviously going to be some additional people who come in here and do some looting as well. Some of them are obviously Zat al Dawahi's people. Some of them seem more like maybe locals who are like, "Oh, yep, time to raid the palace if the dude's dead." They all will be able to very quickly look at you, and all four of you, I believe, have combat reflexes. So you just look like, well, kind of badasses. You're all above 200 points, and these dudes are definitely not. So they don't try to start any crap.
Do we get a slow-mo walk out of town?
You can theoretically have a slow-mo walk out of town, although it's going to be. They're going to be withdrawing the most of the forces after by come dawn the next day. That so a lot of the city is still on fire. A lot of it is burned out. The palace has probably been looted like crap, or looted the crap out of. You know what I meant. You will end up definitely encountering Zyanra again, who is going to inform. I guess Thorn and Brum, who are the sort of nominal leaders, that the bulk of her forces are preparing to withdraw. That the Dread Mistress has instructed her to leave a decent-sized force here in the city to try to bring it back under control, and sort of glance in the direction of, well, that's burning and that's burning, and I'm not sure what's happening over there, but it's bad. But beyond that, the majority of her forces are going to be heading back to the Citadel of 10,000 Pearls, and you are welcome to accompany that force.
That seems like a reasonable plan.
What was our next mission after this?
We don't know yet.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, safer in numbers.
In case we get jumped by a vampire Yanti again.
Well, yeah, possibly. So it's only going, the march back, or the march here took you guys about a week here, but for some reason it only takes like a couple of days to get back. It's like each mile that you're covering, maybe it's like 3 or 4 or something. It's just the cat people just seem to take it. So yeah, that's normal.
Boy, Zyanra must have been really uncomfortable traveling at a normal pace.
It's because we're walking back against the rotation of the Earth. So as the Earth rotates, we take one step forward and rotate 2 steps back. It's one of these things that happen.
I don't think that's right.
I don't know.
It is.
It might
I
be
saw
right.
it on the internet. It must be true.
Well, maybe if we're skipping all the way, because you got to get some air.
Yes. So, so you will reach back at the Citadel on the 31st of August. It is like I said, it is. You probably don't really realize that how quickly you are moving until you are actually arriving, like a couple days after leaving, and you're like, wait a minute, how did we get here so fast? There was no sign of Zat al-Dawahi in the host, but honestly, did you expect the djinn to walk alongside everybody?
Not really.
As I stated with Thorn, everybody else will gradually sort of realize and note this as well. In the wake of what was clearly a stunning victory, there is this tangible sense of discomfort, unease, or something like that within the ranks of the captains. The individual soldiers seem pretty exuberant for the most part, because, well, they're also carrying a bunch of loot and such like that. But eventually, the unease sort of starts spreading to the regular soldiers as well. It's just like they're not talking about it, but they're definitely worried about something.
I'm going to end up asking Zyanra about that.
Okay, how's he? Is he just like, hey, how you doing? Tell me what you know. Push the buttons.
Yeah, more or less. Just once he starts noticing that people aren't as excited as they probably should be, figure maybe she knows why.
She is also not going to be super comfortable saying, talking like, really out loud about it. But after a little bit of poking, prodding, bothering her, she will basically let him know, on the down low that everybody is worried because the djinn are in general always at war with one another, and in this case, one has just completely taken another's territory, and she's already, Zat al-Dawahi's already considered among the most powerful of the djinn masters, and she's getting even more powerful. So her rank and file, the soldiers, are concerned that all of the other djinn are gonna have to act because they're looking and going, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But yeah, as stated, it takes a couple days. You're suddenly, bam! You're suddenly seeing the Citadel of 10,000 Pearls, and it's like, whoa! This is like 2 days.
So, question: when the djinn takes over another djinn's power, do they take upon some of their traits as well?
You probably don't know that. Yeah, that would end up being like hidden lore, djinn, and I don't think any of you are trained in that regard. There are rumors that happens, but just as equally that they're fine. They just take the power.
Well, you did mention that when Zyanra or this Alzat took over, basically killed Furad. She started speaking.
Wow, you got both
of
their names wrong.
Yeah, well, started speaking. The half guy, whatever, started speaking in his, his voice, right?
She said his power in his voice. Yeah, it is. Maybe it is something to be worried about. I mean, it'll be fine. What's the worst could happen?
We become indentured servants and slaves for eternity.
Is
that really
worst?
the worst?
Depends on what it is, how you define.
Yep. So you will enter the city. There is a lot of crowd. A lot of people. They're pretty pumped at the fact that there was a victory, and probably a little confused about why the soldiers look less than super enthusiastic. You will also be invited back to the Citadel proper. And eventually word will come to you that Rana, is it Seneschal? I guess she's like the vizier. She might be Seneschal. I'm not sure. She's basically the person that handles things for Zat al-Dawahi. She will seek the lot of you out and relate that her dread mistress is going to need to be conducting some additional research to determine the next step to rescue your lordling and his filial bride. So she will send word to you as soon as the dread mistress lets her know.
Yeah, she can't be a vizier without a goatee.
Then I guess she's a seneschal. Maybe she's a good vizier. Or maybe she does have a goatee and you just can't see it because she shaves it every morning. So you are going to have some time to yourselves and be able to do whatever it is that you wish to do in the Citadel and the city itself. Master Brum Rumley, she will inform Rana will inform you and provide it to you that there was a missive that was sent to the palace from the city that was addressed to you.
There was.
Yep, and she will give it to you.
All right, Brum will take a look at it.
I have memorized explosive root.
It is a letter, and it is from your. I don't want to call him friend because you're not sure if you'd really classify him as a friend. It is written in Dwarvish, by the way. It is from Thráin, and it is asking you to meet with him in. Well, I guess they probably don't officially have pubs because alcohol and all that. It's what amounts to a pub. And the way he's written it, he's sort of intimating that you would absolutely hate for the information that he has about you to accidentally leak to any of your friends.
All right, so Brum will slide the letter into his coat. and he'll ask where he can find this place.
Rana will admit that she isn't sure, but you can easily ask one of the palace guards. They can direct you there.
All right. Well, when we're done here, Brum's going to excuse himself and go to this place.
Roger that. So Aramis at this point is healing. He's still not at full, but he is. He is definitely conscious and upright. But he's a little stiff. I think he's probably still at like the half move, half dodge area, and he's gonna go. Hey, I'm gonna go lay down because his injuries sort of hurt, and Rana will definitely do the let me show you the way. And it's one of those, it's like everybody's like, oh god, not again. Not another one.
There's potentially a couple of days of heals from Thorondil there too as well for travel.
Yeah. So that I will just add up to 3. That'd be up to 6. I have to do math. I don't want to do math. Stop making me do math.
We can avoid the math by just healing him completely.
Oh, he'll be there, but at the moment he's not. He'll be fully healed the next time you see him.
Well, he says he needs bed rest.
Okay, so Rana will exit stage left with Aramis. Zyanra will actually mention to Thorn that she would like to introduce him to her littermates.
Okay.
To explain the her status.
What is that status?
Well, me following you and all.
Right. Yeah, he's cool with that.
What is Ismir doing during this period of time?
He could probably also be healed full as well, since his down points.
This is also true. Fixed. And I did mean to, which I forgot to do, is you had the old lady who was the crone. She wasn't messing with you guys with any of the major heals anymore because you're mostly okay. You can suck it up. And there were some of the casualties that were still really bad off. If Thorn so desired, he could probably have pestered her and started because I think you mentioned potentially looking at major heal,
right,
but you weren't sure. Obviously, you're not going to be able to necessarily just straight away learn it, but
yeah, well, I can at least start building the excuse to learn it.
So, what is Ismir doing during this period of time while you're waiting for Zat al-Dawahi to call the lot of you back?
I'm probably going to be probably doing the same thing I did before, practicing with the guards, learning how to use the buckler in tandem with my spear, trying to get better at blocking and throwing and all that stuff, and throwing the meteoric dagger as well, stuff like that. Getting better at all those skills, just taking time.
That's not really exciting.
I'm going to get attuned to my buckler.
What is Haruki doing during this period of time?
So Haruki is exploring the city, and at some point goes missing for a little while, and no one can seem to find him.
Haven't gotten
he
there
comes
yet.
back.
Haven't got there yet.
We're not doing that yet.
Oh,
I'm gonna get there though. But yeah. But so in general, you're just wandering.
Yeah, he's going to be exploring the new city. It's something neat. He's never been there before, so he's seeing what he can see. It's he hasn't outside of major cities in his home world. Hasn't been to a city this large and elaborate. Or
that
home world.
Is probably
nation.
True.
I mean, he's been through the Dwarven cities, or at least through the Dwarven realm. So probably that was the last major area he saw.
That was probably really uncomfortable for him.
Oh yeah, and then Caithness
He spent a week after. Did he spend a week afterwards just standing as tall as he could because he's so hunched over?
I don't know. I've seen Lord of the Rings. Those Dwarven halls were huge. Now, going through the doorways might have been a little bit more...
Okay, so noted. All right, so I'll just jump to Brum first. So you will be able to get directed to that pub. It's not quite a pub, but it's a pub.
Tavern that doesn't serve alcohol, just has meals and other refreshments.
Well, they may claim they don't serve alcohol. It's entirely possible they do serve it. Hey, they may have changed everything since this is on a different world after all.
Fermented cat's milk.
So it's pretty much a tavern. Eventually, you will. Thráin is not going to be there initially, but he will eventually show up. And upon seeing you, he's going to brighten up as much as he can. Come over there and join you at your table, and immediately start making small talk that doesn't sound particularly believable. Because as I recall, you made a poor reaction to determine what you guys' relationship was. So I think you determined that you guys don't like each other.
Yeah, I think that was the case.
So he's doing the really, really bright now. How are you doing, my very good friend? That sort of thing.
Right, well, I thought I'd seen the last of you. You can get straight to the point since you have asked me here.
Well, okay. If that's the way it's going to be. You currently have access to the palace, and my business interests would very much like to have access to the palace. So I would like you to arrange it.
And why exactly would I do that?
Well, it's the price of me being quiet about your proper loyalties. I mean, would your allies really look at you the same way if they knew all about your connections to... I can't remember the king's name.
Ginrel.
Yeah, King Ginrel.
You do realize that I could have let you rot in that slave market.
Yeah,
I have paid whatever debt you think is owed.
Business is business. It's nothing personal.
All right. Well, then, if this is business, then you should be offering me some reward.
I am. I'm offering you my silence.
What exactly is it that you wish to get access for?
This is a powerful djinn lady or djinn master, and I want to be able to ship some stuff from here into here, and you can only do that if you get their permission.
Is from what I know of Thráin, is he a merchant? Is that his main bread?
As far as you know, yes. Actually, let me roll something really quick.
I thought that's what was
merchant
said before.
With air quotes.
Yeah, that is what you are aware of him as, a merchant. He travels all around, and I think one of the reasons you probably don't like him is he has a compulsive behavior. Well, he's selfish. You know that because he's kind of an ass, and he is always haggling. He doesn't know when. Okay, compulsive behavior, haggling, and he's got an OPH where he just doesn't know when to quit, and that's just sort of probably rubbed you wrong, or every time you've interacted with him.
Okay.
He's a charismatic dwarf, though.
And if I do this for you, will that be it? Or will I have to come after you and silence you in a different manner?
Now, we're just being friendly here. There's no reason to start throwing out threats.
It wasn't a threat. And Brum will sort of give him an insincere grin.
It's like, well, if you're gonna be difficult, I mean, I can find an alternate means to gain access to the this lady.
Oh, that would be great then. So we are done here. Brum will sort of fake standing up. So I'm sort of calling his bluff.
Right. He's going to he's going to look at you. Okay, so I guess that would probably be like detect. Would that be detect lies or body language? I'm not sure.
Well, they kind of cross over.
I'm going to make detect lies. He seemed actually, I don't know. Do you have like body language and stuff like that?
No.
So he's gonna look at you for a moment. He goes, "Yes, I suppose we are done here." And he's going to to get up slowly, clearly not quite trusting whether you're gonna jump in, jump tackle him or anything like that.
So we are clear that you will find another means to get access to this djinn, and our business here is settled.
I'm sure we'll see each other around.
I shall hear no more of this speak of my past. Yes?
Let's see. How is he going to officially respond to that? It's like, I'm sure we can discuss this later. I mean, yeah, it'll be fine. He is going to be attempting to fast talk you. How does that work against PCs again?
This is Will.
They suggest that if they fail, or if the PC fails, you could assign a penalty to stuff.
Okay, so since he since he was unsuccessful in his fast talk based off of that roll, you probably get the feeling that he doesn't know when to quit, and he's probably going to pop back up like a bad penny, and he may attempt to blackmail you again. In fact, he may do bad things because this didn't work out like he wanted it to.
All right, so Brum will sort of step around the table and then sort of get in his face, and he'll say, yes, our business is done, all right? Or do we have some more to discuss?
Sounds to me like you're trying to intimidate him.
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta beat that. Well, I didn't fail, but it's by margin of success, isn't it?
Yes.
So he's gonna recoil a little bit from you, but he's like, because you are looking pretty intimidating right now. And let's see, I need to. Let's see, do I have that on there? Damn it, I don't have that on there. Hold on. This is kind of appropriate because it's sort of a negotiation as far as he's concerned. He immediately starts trying to haggle. He's like hemming and hawing and trying to change change. It's like, oh no, we're fine. I'm sure you can do another favor for me down the road. Doesn't have to be this.
I do not expect to see you again, unless it is back in Ginral, and then perhaps we can talk. But while I am here, I do not want to see your face. And Brum will sort of start walking away, and he'll sort of turn and say, I do mean that.
I'm certain you do. No, and double check a disad. Damn it, I hate it when that happens. Okay, so you can definitely see he is glowering at you and is not happy in the slightest.
Brum will leave the place, or he'll pay for whatever drink he got at the table or whatever. He'll put some coin down, and then he'll leave, and he'll sort of breathe a sigh of potential relief.
Oh,
yeah, I wouldn't call that relief.
Yeah, based off of his, he's probably certain Thráin's going to be a problem.
But he's just hoping that he's scared him enough that'll keep him out of Brum's hair for, long enough for him to complete his mission.
Yeah, with the successful intimidate, I will keep that in mind. But his so that basically this is going to mean his Brum's secret is still active. But he is going to be, quiet for a little while.
That works.
And then he's going to spring up and be irritating all over again. Okay, so Haruki, you wandering around the city, you will actually pick up what seems like a train of orphans who are frankly kind of fascinated by A, your sheer size, and B, the fact that you look so weird to them. Yeah, now you're going, how does Haruki react to a train of orphans?
Well, he'll make
They're not very tasty, I would think.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, he says, I'm hungry. Go get me food.
If you want to be useful, bring food. Honestly, you'll probably be a little like hesitant because he'll kind of be that I can break these kids, if I'm not careful.
Right.
But he's not going to be like shooing them off necessarily.
Oh, right. I need you to make a check.
Oh, I know. I was going to roll that into my little story, but I can do that too.
We're just about to find out if we know what they're going to laugh.
Oh, they'll laugh. They'll laugh bad. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Yes, indeed.
I
think you killed one.
Oh no.
No, I think it's probably yeah, I see what you're talking about, Brian. Yes, you can totally do that.
I was going to say that if the secret gets out, that's what happens anyway.
Yep.
Well, no, if the secret gets out, I would probably get an enemy from, I don't know, just thinking ahead.
Well, that's true.
King Ginrel, because I'm not going to go against the party because I've sense of duty companions now. But I might make an enemy of the king for not completing the job.
Or it's one of those where he's always been thinking, King Ginrel's kind of an asshole.
His loyalties may change. So, I don't know. But this is separate to that.
Right. So I'm thinking in this case, there, Haruki, you were like going through one of the little stall areas where people are selling the stuff, and you've got the kids are like trailing around you, and clearly one of them was dared to come up and like tug at something, and you whirled around and you didn't hit the kid, but you like hit the stall, and then it was like a domino effect and took down a whole bunch of the stalls. And the kids thought it was absolutely hysterical. And as a result, now as you're walking, you're constantly feeling one of the kids run up and tug on something to try to get you to do it again.
Yep.
Sounds right.
Yeah, while you are wandering through the stuff and seeing the city and such like that, at one point you are actually going to see Zat al-Dawahi in that public persona where she's like 15 feet tall and got the weird head mask thing. Think of the mask thing as pretty is sort of like a Goa'uld mask, the way they wear that. So it's like it's clearly not her face. She's sort of like just floating through the various the streets and such like that. Everybody stays well out of her way, and it's like you have since Haruki notices these sort of things, he's definitely going to be aware that her shadow doesn't act like a normal shadow.
But I'm also compelled to defer to her, aren't I?
You're compelled to be polite to her if you actually interact with her.
Right.
And you will see, you will hear definitely a commotion. It seems like she's sort of gliding in that direction as well.
I will definitely. I'm curious. I'm gonna definitely follow and kind of. What's she doing?
So outside of a mosque are some dudes who are basically, and since you because they've magically tweaked you, your Arabic is your native language. You are aware that this dude is obviously speaking in Arabic. He is preaching that there is actually a new god on the earth, and that god is Zat al-Dawahi, the mistress of misfortune, the lady of pain, and the Pasha of 10,000 doors. And a lot of people are just like, what is this moron doing? When they've got that expression that I don't even know if Haruki has body language, but even if he doesn't, it's obvious. All these, so it's definitely obvious to him. These people are really uncomfortable with what this guy is saying, and there's like a hush falls over the area apart from that guy, who's still chatting as she sort of glides into view. And he turns to that, and he starts like the guy starts genuflecting towards her and announcing her as a new god, and she turns away from him, and her shadow covers him.
Uh-oh.
And there's a lot of screaming from in that shadow, and she just glides away. And as she glides away, the shadows, going normal at this point, but she's leaving behind this dude who has just been flayed alive. He's not alive anymore, but he's dead, and it's like, ugh. And at least one of the guys, you can hear some of the people are like, mumbling, like, that moron, he could have seen that coming. So it doesn't seem like this is, it's, oh yeah, damn it, I wish I had remembered that. I don't know if Mark has watched Buffy.
I have. I've watched.
So did you remember the episode where Willow was going evil and she's like, bored now, and just gestured, and it's like that, except the dude
slower
dies. and he hits the ground and he's not moving. But it definitely seems like that is not something that the locals are terribly surprised to see. They will call somebody, they'll like wrap the corpse up into something and carry it off to do whatever. I hope it's not terrible, whatever it is. Whatever is. So I'm curious, how does Haruki react to
that? Probably initially in horror, and then the and here I was giving lip to this thing.
This is probably also true, yeah.
Like, and my newfound habit of checking people for odd shadows is very warranted.
Yeah, it's definitely there are some people also, I should have mentioned that. You will every now and then see some people like, hey, that guy has two shadows. Why does that guy have two shadows? And then he goes away or goes into a building and never comes out. If you go in, he's not there. It's a little creepy, but then this is a weird city. So Thorn, Zyanra will take you to meet some other cat persons. Zyanra is actually one of them. And Zyanra will introduce. Were you about to say something?
Well, I was going to say, I did know that, didn't I?
I can't remember if
I know the GM has mentioned it, but I don't know if Thorondil actually heard that.
Let's say no then. He's a little surprised, maybe. Zyanra's the only other one that I have pictures for, because it's actually surprising. You don't want to know what happens if you search for cat girl.
I have a pretty good idea.
So she introduces you to them, and will then basically tell them about how you met, how you were or how she was a slave to, the half-born.
Please tell me this doesn't turn into some kind of CG musical.
No, there's no cats in this. Damn it! I should have thought of that. I would have thrown one up there and just said, "Blah! This is the one none of them talk about." They're like, "Yeah, that person's over there. Pay no attention to them." Yeah, so she's telling them about the fact that she was a slave and she was forced to fight you to the death, and you beat her, and you had her life was in your hands, and you said no to the half-born, and that definitely causes all of the cat persons, including Zyanra, to give you a whoa sort of look. And so she then points out that that means her life is now yours, to spend as you will, and then basically explains to you they effectively have the concept of like life debts. So since you saved her, you not only didn't kill her, but then you like did some healing for her. You saved her. So as far as she's concerned, where you go, she goes.
I guess they really hadn't sat down and had that specific conversation about what all that meant. So I guess he's getting that for the first time, really.
Yeah, and it may be uncomfortably close to slavery for him, but
it's a little awkward. But it was her choice.
Yeah, she's making that decision. And then it's like, all of the assembled cat persons sort of like, they acknowledge this, and there'll be like I'm trying to think of a creepy cat sort of like tradition, that let me start over, and in English. Trying to come up with a tradition that the cat persons have that Thorn may find a little uncomfortable, but he has to suffer. No, not something like that.
She cleans him.
Well, I was thinking of something
that's
like
uncomfortable.
that. Like they all have to like lick him or something, and he's just like, "This is so I know." And then they have a meal, and it's a meal. It's a pretty good meal.
I feel bad I didn't get you anything.
So let's see. So I don't know what the stash is at the moment, Ismir, but I'm gonna presume it's something. In this case, it's probably something he's wanting to sell, and I am gonna circle back to you guys took all the stuff from the dead dudes, so you could theoretically sell it. I'll circle back to that here shortly, but I'm gonna presume that like Ismir wanted to go into the city to like actually sell whatever the stuff for the stash is.
Yeah, after I train a little bit, I would go out, sell the stuff
So
nobody in the party list is going to be using.
Well, it won't necessarily be that. I'm thinking more the stash that you found.
Well, was there anything special in the stash that I might have been able to keep?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. We'll circle back to that. But while you are doing the merchanting thing, you are briefly going to see a woman in the crowd that you are very, very, well, not very, very, but she very much resembles a woman that you knew. I don't know, a former lover, a wife. It's going to depend entirely on what you decide. Who was lost in a raid with a rival djinn many years ago.
Okay.
And how does he react to, it's just like a, hey, that looks like, as she's like, walking off somewhere else.
Well, again, who be a little bit more specific? Would it be like my wife, my daughter?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking me.
You're filling in the connection a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a woman you know. She could have been a wife. She could have been, I don't know. Was he married? Was it a fiance? Was he married and it's his, it looks like his daughter, but his wife died? I don't know. You fill it in. And he's like, I'm put on the spot. Yeah.
Do I need to do I need to do this now, or do I have a moment to think?
Maybe.
I'm gonna say the woman that he thinks he's seeing is his wife that he thought he lost, and when they were rescued, because his family, from what he recalls, perished when the Fail came and basically came in freedom from enslavement. During that raid, his family was killed. So this woman that he's seeing, it's like it just puts him in, it puts him in a moment of shock, because it's has to be his wife. It has to be. So but he also has a sense of disbelief, and he's not going to just rush over there and say it's you, but he will follow and try to get close enough to determine that it is her or not. So he'll be stealthy about it, and he'll try to get close enough to basically say, yes, this is my wife. And then if it is his wife, then it will, based on what you say, then his actions will change. So I'm going to use stealth.
No,
to
you don't
follow
have to.
her.
You don't have to actually make any roll for that in this case. Yeah, it's because this is what part of you don't have to make a roll? Did you fail to understand?
Playing the game. I'm being part of it. I'm role playing. Okay.
Okay, if you're going to do it that way, then I have to say it is not stealth you would be using. It would be shadowing, which I believe is stealth -5.
So I failed.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Can't remember.
You don't need a roll until you're asked.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Is that right? I can't remember. Now I have to look. Yeah, no, it's
I think it's
-4
on foot.
IQ -5.
Yeah, IQ -5 or stealth -4 on foot. But there's bonuses because it's a pretty crowded place, such like that. You will start shadowing this woman as she is meeting up with and she's got meets up with a couple of kids and is heading in. Actually, how long ago was the were you was that in terms of years? Was it like 2 years ago? Was it 10 years ago?
Well,
what happened? I heard, but
did we lose him?
Do you hear me? 3-4 years.
Okay, 3 or 4 years. Okay, with that in case that in mind, I have to adjust slightly. So she's probably holding, or she's likely holding like a 2-year-old or something like that, and she definitely meets up with a man who looks like local in town.
So is this my
Closer,
wife?
as you get closer, that definitely looks like her.
I will continue to follow from a distance and determine where they go, and if a opportunity arises where I can intercept in privacy, I would do so.
Just all of them, or just her? Because she is definitely traveling with a guy.
Just
and
her.
they're talking.
Just her.
And yeah, you can get close enough to hear her, and it sounds like her, looks like her, walks like her.
Then I would basically see if they just, again, try to not be noticed, but determine where maybe they live. And then if an opportunity arises that I can speak to her in private, I would then show myself, but I would not do it around with the guy present.
So it's going to actually take a little while for you to see the opportunity. They definitely, or they live in the city. It seems like this guy is a merchant of some sort, and she is definitely acting like his wife. And in fact, he calls her wife, and she refers to him as husband. But it will take a little bit of time. But eventually he's gonna like go out to do whatever it is that merchanty people do, and she's like, in the back of their little home, outside, sort of like hanging up the clothes after having washed them. But it seems like she is alone. He's gonna sneak in and gank her, isn't he? He's gonna murder her and leave her body there.
No, he's gonna go out and kill the dude.
No, I would.
He's gonna go punk the dude.
No, I go up and I knock on the door.
She's in the back. It won't necessarily hear that.
Oh well, then I would go wherever I would go around to where is she outside? If she's outside, then I'll just
it's like a little sort of backyard. So in this case, I will ask you to give me a stealth check. That's awesome right there. So it's totally going to be one of those situations where she's like hanging something up, and then she like goes down and picks up something from her basket, and as she comes back up, you're standing there. And she lets out a surprised squawk, and her eyes definitely get quite a bit larger, and she's like, Ismir, you're alive?
Now I gotta.
That's right, putting you on the spot.
Now I gotta figure out a good wife's name for it.
No, I'm just the ghost.
Ooh,
Boo.
ghost.
Analia, is that you?
And she will
Is it really
she will throw herself into your arms, and she's like hugging you, and very much crying, and repeating over and over. It's like, I thought you were dead. Thought you were dead.
And I would hug her back. I'm not dead. I thought you were dead. I'm so glad you're alive.
She will reveal that she was captured by a different djinn, and then soon thereafter, she was basically, sold to various slavers and such like that, and she was purchased by a man who promptly freed her, and then she gets really, really quiet and sort of looks towards the house, and you can sort of hear the sound of a child sort of like stirring, like it's starting to make a little noise. It's not quite awake. She's like, "Oh, this is terribly complicated. We thought you were dead."
It's okay. How is he treating you?
Well, I have a nice house and a very lovely child.
How
I
is he
named
treating you?
I named him Ismir.
I could
How
slit
is
his
he
throat if
treating
you
you?
like.
Oh, right, sorry. I was looking at it, and she's like, he treats me very well. I love him. He's like, I'm so sorry. It's like, I'll be right back. And then you go gank him.
One second.
Computing.
Let's see, I'm gruff, I'm uncongenial, unstated, I have a sense of duty, honest. I wouldn't necessarily go just kill him. Code of honor.
Honesty is...
I wouldn't necessarily go kill him.
I mean, code of honor Arab, he's taking care of my wife, which really, she's still my wife, which is, from an Arab standpoint, now that we thought she was dead. Now it's like,
hey, she thought you were dead.
So how do we go forward from here?
Yeah, don't. I guess it's up to you. How do you go forward?
Yeah. How do you go forward? He's like, nope, sorry, I cannot allow you to compromise this. And
no, I'm asking her. So how do we go forward from here? We are still technically married.
But are you?
Yes.
But are you?
I don't know.
I don't.
And she does look genuinely torn up about it.
Do you love him?
Yes.
Is the child his or mine?
It's his.
Is there anything you would like from me?
I don't... wow, that's a really good question. I don't know what she would say to that.
His blessing?
Alimony.
Well, I don't...
You owe me child support.
What? No, it's not his kid. I don't know what you can give me. I don't know. I don't need anything.
Out of character, how much money did I scrounge from the place?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have to sort of figure that out.
Was it a lot? Was it a lot?
It was.
He rolled really well.
It was not insubstantial. I believe if we used Daniel's major or critical or character points traded for money, it would be 700. I don't know what that is. It's probably not quite 2 dinars. 2 dinars were 400, aren't they? Dinars are 400.
The 4 or 2?
I am looking. I don't know. Well, it wasn't unsubstantial.
Do you need any money?
No, we are doing well. What do you need? I need the gym to figure out how much money I have.
I do. And what else I got?
Damn soccer GMs, man.
Hi, caramba. It's like I find my dead wife married to another man.
With a child.
With a child.
But hey, she was clearly thinking of it. She named him Ismir.
May I see the child?
Well, it sounds like he's getting up anyway, so certainly. She'll go get the kid. There's no way you're looking at it and like, yeah, this kid doesn't look anything like me. So she definitely wasn't lying there.
Okay. I would like to meet your husband.
He's like, you're like, I'm gonna take the kid. So see you later.
No,
this is my payment.
I would like to meet your husband when the time permits.
Well, he'll be back. Probably I don't know how long a merchant is going to be out. So in some hours, or she can take you and the child there.
Why not? It'll be a good walk.
Yep.
And we could talk about, I can tell her about my adventures since then, and she can tell me a little bit about what she's gone through, and we just kind of reminisce.
Seems like she's got a relatively peaceful life. And there's nothing really offensive about the husband. I mean, he isn't ugly or fat or mean or that you can tell of, and he seems genuinely surprised that you're still alive. And then immediately, oh crap!
Huh?
What does this mean?
Yeah, he's just like, oh crap! That means she's still married to you. Oh no. How do we fix this?
Oh, is this the merchant husband?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh crap! It's
sorry.
Fight to the death.
He would not be enthusiastic about that
unless he's secretly
a 1,000-point character, and he's gonna straight up gank you with his altered time rate and enhanced time sense.
I will look him straight in the eye, and I'll say, "You have my blessing. You have done right by my wife, who is, at the time, I thought she was dead. You have given her a home, you have given her a life, and you have given her a child. She is no longer my wife, she is yours. And you honor me by the way you have treated her. So you have my blessing."
She's totally going to start blubbering.
Now die!
Haruki's around the corner with popcorn with tears in his eyes. Yay! Oh, joking.
No, I totally envision Ismir as like, he's like, I'm going to leave now because I'm about to cry and I do not wish to cry in front of you. Why do you cry? I cry because he is Cimmerian. I cry because he won't.
I'm gruff. I'm staid. I'm not going to be crying.
You can cry.
All right.
No, I don't need to cry. Me personally, as Paul, I would cry. But this Ismir guy.
He's definitely there. Yeah, it's definitely a awkward, complicated situation.
I would, with your permission, though, be able to still stop by from time to time just to have a conversation with you and my ex-wife. if you would allow it, just to have that,
of course,
companionship. Then, as for now, I will leave you and partake. Analia,
okay.
I love you and I'll always love you. But
she sobs some more.
You have found a really good husband here, and I am truly honored that he has taken care of you.
As soon as he's out, they're like, "Ooh, I thought he'd never leave."
All right. Like, well, okay.
Now you have to roll stealth again so you can ghost properly.
I will.
Now I must
Do
go.
I
Hey,
have
what's
to
that
read?
over there? Ah, dude, he's got a 17, and they're like nobodies, so I'm not terribly worried about it. Okay, so now that that's out of the way,
does that mean you just picked up an ex-wife with benefits?
Probably not.
No, not with the agriculture. Wouldn't work.
Yeah, in the back room, Aramis pops up out of the bedroom and says, "Is he gone yet?" All right, come back in here.
Okay, so now I'm gonna do the quick the thing with the which I'm certain Paul is probably completely ignorant of because I don't think he's looked at the Discord. So it's going to be not quite a week before you guys are called back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be about 5 days before you receive the summons to come back to the palace, or rather that Zat al Dawahi wishes your presence. And in that time, some strange exotic thing is going to have happened to you. Within the city, which is fitting considering this is the city of a powerful djinn. So let's see. I'll just start. Well, I'm gonna make Paul last since he's probably caught completely by surprise. So, Brum, tell me what strange thing happened to you during this week that you will no doubt talk about until your end of days.
Alright, so Brum, with some free time, decides to go to a tavern. Hang on, let me just sort of shut this door so the bird in the background can't be heard.
That bird. This bird's evil.
It can be. So he opens the door to the tavern, then he feels suddenly disorientated, and he finds himself falling into an ocean. He has no armor, weapons, or clothing that he's familiar with, but he's wearing a uniform of red. He has a metal pot helm and a small breastplate. And he also wears cylinders of glass over his eyes. Around him in the ocean is a bunch of bodies in the same uniform, and there's like burning wreckage of an airship, though he's not familiar with what an airship is. And that airship is sinking into the water. He climbs onto some floating debris, and he drifts in the ocean for many days. He's at death's door and then washes up on a beach. Days later, he wakes in a farmhouse of a woman who he finds out lives alone. Her husband has gone off to fight in something that is called the Three Nations War, and her name is Rebecca. Weeks will pass and Brum will be nursed back to health. There is no common language between Brum and Rebecca, so it's difficult at first, but over time Brum will learn to communicate. Anyway, years will pass. Brum helps out on the farm as he has no idea what to do. The war will come to an end. However, Rebecca's husband does not return. And in the following years, Brum and Rebecca will grow closer and they will eventually marry. So, decades then pass. The pair try to have children, but are unsuccessful. Brum being a dwarf and Rebecca being human or whatever she is. But decades will pass, and Rebecca will grow old and eventually pass, while Brum is still barely middle-aged for a dwarf. So, with nothing holding him back to this farm, Brum then decides to leave and takes up a position on a free merchant airship. Over the years that pass, he eventually works his way up to be the ship's captain. As the former captain retires, Brum chooses to rename this airship the Rebecca Dawn. And then one day, decades after he arrived on this world, Brum opens the door to his captain's cabin, steps in, feels a sudden disorientation, and then finds himself walking into the tavern that he started his journey at. And that's his weird happening.
Okay, Brian wins, and
but Brum has come back changed.
And he also forgot all the skills he learned in those decades.
No, I've actually spoken to Phil, and
he's
Brum's going he's going to lose some of his combat skill and gain some steampunk airship type skills.
Some weirdness. He's like, everybody's like, well, where does this come from? And you're like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I figured that was fine since I sort of let Daniel rejigger with the smell blam slightly.
That's pretty cool.
All right, so let's see. We'll go to Haruki. So Haruki,
what did he drink?
Whoa! After that, what? I gotta get on stage after him.
Yeah. So Haruki, what strange thing happened to you during the week that you're going to tell your grandchildren about over and over without exaggerating much?
Well,
come on.
So he gets in. Yeah. So I'm going to use the kids thing, and he ends up busting up basically a child slavery ring. And
okay. Totally accidentally.
Totally accidentally. Because exactly, he stumbles into it. But that's so. It kind of starts innocuously, and then he notices that the kids that tend to follow him, change, but like some of the normal ones disappear. So he tries to find them, and then he notices, at some point catches some folks following them, like the group. Does has one of his bouts of klutziness and crashes through. He goes into a shop thinking he saw where the kids get taken. Wanders into the shop thinking it's really nothing. Like maybe it was like the parents dragging him in for like being late or whatever, and does the klutz thing, crashes some stuff around the shop, but then ends up falling through a false door into a room that's obviously being used to traffic children.
All right. And the masters of this thing, who are they? Are they like monsters? Are they people?
Yes, they're monsters. They're not. Let's see. Let's go with. We've seen. Actually, you know what? They're more gnolls. They've been hiding in the so they've been using some of the local humans as their pawns to get the children and then smuggle them out.
What are they doing with children? Are they eating them? Are they slaves?
Yes, all the above. For slavery, for other, disgusting delights, that kind of thing. So Haruki loses his cool, and in fact, the part that he doesn't talk about is that he absolutely loses it, and he kills them, all of them. He doesn't even stop when they're dead or when they're down. He kind of it shames. It's part. It's while he feels that he did the honorable thing, he feels shame that he murdered like indiscriminately these people without So he, even against his own code that he wouldn't kill a down foe, it didn't stop him.
Once you start down the dark path, forever will it guide your destiny.
Yep, exactly.
And just as he's as he's coming back to himself, and the kids are like looking at him like in awe, and he's gonna sort of totally turn around there, and Zat al-Dawahi will be standing there looking at you, and will say in her creepy voice, you have done well, son of Nakasato. And then she will turn and depart.
Wait, was that Lanfang's voice?
Oh,
that
wow.
Might have been Lanfang's voice. Thank you, Daniel. So, there, Thorondil, what strange thing happened to you during the week that you wonder if it actually happened or if you hallucinated the whole thing?
Wow, that was appropriate. So, during the week, Thorondil went to climb up on a particular well-appointed, kind of large, looked like a wizardy tower of some kind that he didn't get to before. And he was just chilling up in a window, a little small window, and looked down, and there's a inside huge room, completely dark for the most part. And thought he saw something moving around in there, so he just kind of dropped in to see what it was. And out of the darkness, he gets charged by one and then another, what appear to be dragons about the size of a pony or so. They're not that big.
Oh, man.
And sort of reactively, he opens his wings, and the dragons stop suddenly and sort of sniff at him, and then just kind of flop down like a sad puppy. And he sees that they are chained and senses the magic on the chains, and not sure what to make of it, but he doesn't like chains, so he hauls up the sword and smashes the chains off. As he does so, the collar falls away from the dragons, and they suddenly begin to grow quite large, probably bigger than elephants at this point. And that was a surprise, so he's sort of backing off away. They're stumbling around in this tower because it's not big enough for him anymore. And they're growling and stuff, but they're not threatening him. And off in one corner, after some torches get knocked around, some stuff's on fire in there, so there's a little more light. And he sees there's a pedestal over there with a big rock. And one of the dragons, the white one, not the red one, goes over there and takes up this sort of egg-shaped rock in its mouth. And the red one finds a window and smashes through it, nearly breaking the entire tower down. And the two of them fly out, never to be seen again, flying off to the east.
He presumes they'll never be seen.
It's going to be probably years before he realizes who they were, because he's heard about them in stories. But when he does, he's going to start scratching his head because they were supposed to both be male.
Nice. Okay. So do you understand what I was doing there, Paul, with these guys?
Yes.
All right. So tell me, what strange thing happened to Ismir that he wished had, I don't know, maybe never had happened? Can't forget any moment of it.
Well, after his wife, and now ex-wife,
The incident.
and after that incident, he's elated, but he's also heartbroken at the same time because he's gained his wife, his wife back, but lost her again, and so he's in pain. He reaches out to Rana and specifically asks her, I must speak with Sat al-Dawahi. I must. It is a matter of urgency. And Rana, goes and speaks to Zat al-Dawahi, and she gives permission, and he approaches Zat al-Dawahi and says, Mistress, I need a quest. I something has happened in my personal life, and I need a quest. I need to do something. Is there something I can do to get my mind off these things? And he's not thinking properly because he's just mixed emotions right now. And Sad Al Dawahi just kind of snaps her finger, and he finds himself in a cave, and all of a sudden, two eyes are looking at him, and it was the same dragon that flew out in the middle of the desert. Um, that he ended up getting Longslayer from. And the in the instance of what happens is that a finds himself to be more than what he is in this instance. Like Stat al-Dawahi gave him additional uh, abilities. And the dragon at this point um, is not happy to see Ismir. More he's interested in his food, and from what Zat al Dawahi, basically the instance that he gets is that the dragon has been terrorizing her territory. So basically, she wants the dragon to be gone. So with the additional abilities that Zal al Dawahi gave Ismir, and only for this battle alone, he was successfully able to slay the dragon. Using a long slayer, using the meteoric iron dagger, using his new buckler and the training that he received, plus the new abilities. And in return, he's gets to partake in the dragon's treasure trove. And out of that, he finds something unique, and that unique can be something that you can, uh, as GM, decide what that might be. But after he defeats the dragon, Zat al Dawai does not immediately return him back. He ends up actually having to travel back to the City of Thousand Pearls on foot. And he comes across an oasis on his way back where he just gets rejuvenated. He basically all the worries that he's been in, his heavy heart it's taken away, and he is able to relax at this oasis, and he just feels so much better about life in general. The just what happened with the dragon being able to do something, and he feels completely at peace now with his whole life situation, and even at peace with not being the personal bodyguard of um what's her name.
Well, she hasn't been in the story for a while, has she?
Amara, yeah, Amara, because she's been in a way he's been feeling the lack of being her personal bodyguard and having to keep her protected, and it's like he just feels a sense of release from that. So on his return, uh, he finds that why he has transported the majority of the dragon's treasure, and he's gotten some of it, but the rest of it went into the city's coffers. So, and that's basically where it ends. So you can decide what, if anything, or whatever he gets.
And perhaps something unique.
Perhaps something
All right.
unique.
Cool beans. All right. Well done, everyone. Good times. Let's see. So let me check. Okay, that's fine. With regards to selling the stuffs, is the stuff that's all in the parcel items, are you guys just going to sell all of that stuff?
I think we could probably get away with it. Although
you may want to do the grenade. I think somebody wanted the grenade.
Isn't that axe better than Brum's? I think Brum just had a normal axe, didn't he?
Which axe?
Brum's not going to change his axe. It's a signature gear. It's a family heirloom thing.
Yeah.
He might carry a spare axe or something like that if it's decent, but yeah, he's not going to change.
That one.
It's a fine quality. It's balanced.
Which I think don't actually stack. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think there's anything left on there that we're gonna.
Except for Clang. We'll keep Clang around just in case someone wants to use it.
Okay, so who has the highest merchant skill? Does anybody have this skill?
I think some of us have it.
Brum has merchant at 11.
I thought I had it. That's another one of those I kind of needed to be a mercenary.
I do not.
Okay, well, I will probably end up waiting for the actual. Okay, well, he succeeded. Let me make a note of that, and I will calculate how much fundage that is, and annotate it for next week.
Can you do that thing?
What?
Can you do the party sheet thing with that?
I don't know.
Brum will take Clang. He'll just carry it though, unless someone else has use for it.
Oh, well, you have more use for it than anybody else.
You're the only one that would have any use for it.
Yeah, I don't know how you would actually. Let's see, that's 50%. So, you can also get the unidentified potion identified.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, which one is that? Do you remember what the one that we used was before?
Crap. No. I remember us looking it up though.
Okay, let me hold on. I can actually. Crap, can I actually do that? Let's see. No, I can't. I have to. Wait, I know. I can look. Well, I can look at my. Well, somebody can probably take that off the thing, and then I will identify it. And then let me see if this will actually work. If I just. Oh wait, were we talking about Brum taking the axe that's on there as a backup if he needs it?
Is that the axe or the great axe?
That's just the axe. If you're not actually going to use that one, leave it in there because that's the most high dollar item on the list.
So let's see. If I sell items, will that actually work with the with this?
It will. You need to specify the percentage, though. You'll see underneath the.
Yeah, it's 50% right now. So you rolled by 2. How does that? I don't remember how merchant works in GURPS. So I use it so often or so infrequently.
So the first thing to do is roll a reaction roll to see what the base price the merchant will give you, and then you roll merchant to haggle.
Okay, so it looks like Brum is probably the person doing the selling. So give me a reaction roll.
I don't. I think, does merchant give a +1 if you have the skill, +2 if you have it over 15?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if you have this skill at any level, you get +1 on reaction rolls or buying or selling. If you have this skill at level 20 or greater, you get it at +2. Ooh. Okay, so
poor,
clearly,
I think is less, 10% less, or something like that, or 20% less.
So clearly, your buddy Thráin has been spreading some bad rumors about you. So the merchants are really hesitant to do business with you. All right. So the winner adds or subtracts 10% of the fair value. So
what's the fair value that it gives us?
I don't know. I'm trying to like I said, I don't use merchant enough.
There's the way merchant works, and then there's figuring out what the actual fair value of this stuff is secondhand, which is a little more difficult to sort out.
In the reaction table, it should say fair value is the actual value that you would buy it for. The listed price, that's fair value. But because of a poor reaction, that reduces the fair value. So that's what the starting value is.
Okay. So the merchant asks for 120% of the fair value or offers 75% of the fair price. So that would be 75 to start with, I guess.
Yep. So he offers 75%, and then
the merchant roll bumps it by 10.
So it becomes 85% of the. Okay, and then I will. So everybody has. Let me make sure that Aramis has the stuff that he is supposed to have. Inventory: leggings, sleeves, armor, helm. Okay, that covers. He's already got boots, and okay, so then I just go sell this stuff.
Boop.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so that's now how is that going to split up?
So it'll split evenly for everyone that's in the party order.
I think you need to set the coinage on that. If you want it to show up in the right spot.
Okay, so farthings are 1?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, coppers.
So I just put C:farthing.
Drop the $sign. Yeah. Yeah.
Drop the $sign and then distribute. Okay, let me make sure everybody's here. Aramis, Ismir. You know, I'm going to pull these off and then put them back on just to make sure that I have the most up to date. Unless it automatically puts active PCs.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't need to take them off and on.
Okay. Let's see how this works.
Dink. That looks like it worked, yeah.
That's okay. That's pretty cool. That's the first time I've actually used that.
All right, so gold is for every 100, so it's going to be 14 gold.
Yeah, something like that. You can rearrange it as appropriate, however you so desire.
Oh, those would be dinar, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they'd probably be dinar, which are honestly the same in this case. It's just looks different. Neat. That's the first time I've actually used that.
It is pretty useful.
Definitely useful. Okay, so, and let's see here. As stated, a couple of days afterwards, everybody's like back from some weirdness. Something weird has happened. Some of you may talk about it, some of you won't. I think everybody is going to note that Brum seems a little different. Actually, Brum and Ismir both seem a little different. With Brum however Brum seems. I'm not sure how different that's going to be, but
a little more mellow.
Clearly, he's been getting into that leaf. And Ismir seems a bit cheerier, less bogged down by all of the stuff. And on, yeah, okay, so that's fine, Mark. So on the fourth,
but why?
Well, I might keep doing klutzy things, but as for
you actually just downgrade it to quirk or something.
Quirk level.
Yeah. So some days afterwards, you are all receive, including Aramis, will receive a summons to come before Zot al-Dawahi, and I just remembered that I didn't have something or in the links that I should have. How terrible of me! I'm going to blame someone else. Crap, I don't know where it's at. Right, so you're taking or brought before her. Oh, there it is. Nope, that's not it. Damn it. That's it. You are brought before her in her her palace. You will definitely looking at the image there at the top of her little throne is her is totally the weird headpiece or whatever it was that she was wearing, and she is seated there. She will inform you as soon as you arrive that her research is complete and that she has a new task for you. In the center of some ruins of a long forgotten city, which she identifies as Alimad, which was once the city of 10,000 pillars. There is an altar to a false god, and it is wrought of precious metals. And I require this altar.
Okay.
She will, sort of gesture, and it's like you're going to have not quite a hologram, but it's like it's basically a hologram. The Alimad is based off of what you're looking at. It's a little over 300 miles away. So normally with your camels, she will acknowledge that this would take you upwards of 2 weeks to reach. but she is aware that time is fleeing from all of us. So she will burn some of Farouk Halfborn's power, and when she says Farouk Halfborn's power, she's using his voice to enhance your speed, so you will reach the place more quickly. She will also caution you to be very, very careful in which was once the city of 10,000 pillars, because, well, it is definitely a dangerous place.
This altar is going to be large and heavy. He says with a slight question mark. We're gonna have to figure out how to actually transport that in that case. If it's made of precious metals, it will not be light.
It could be a small altar.
What are the chances?
She will gesture, and there will be, and it will sort of a visual representation will materialize, and it's not. It doesn't look like it's super big, but yeah, knowing that it's probably like precious metals, you suspect that probably is kind of heavy. I mean, Haruki could probably carry it, but that would be,
all he carries.
It'd be heavy. Yeah.
We could wagon or a sled. We can drag through the sand.
Well, remember looking at the map. The stuff on the right, of this line is the looser sand, and the stuff on the left is more rocky desert.
So maybe ones that we can modify would have a wagon that we have wheels, and then we can put on skids when we get to the sand.
So I think it is going to look something like that, but it's not going to be quite the same. It's probably, I do recognize that it did make me chuckle a little bit, but I was like, oh, that's a good one, because I hadn't really determined what the stupid altar looked like, because ultimately it's just a MacGuffin, I believe. I believe this is the proper term of MacGuffin. Except it's going to have like dragons in on the top instead.
Right. Well, if that's about the size of it, then really we just need to hook it up. Like hook it up to. Oh, we could get a cart or something. That's probably reasonable. Yeah.
We also need to encounter a lost tribe of Nazis that are after it as well.
Yeah, but they're going to be like alien Nazis, because it's a drag. It's not quite the Covenant. Oh, where's that one? Oh, hold on. Yes. Can I get this picture in there? It's even better. Hold on. Assuming my computer will cooperate with me today.
Yeah, fat chance.
Blood and ashes. Come on, do what I want you to. Damn it. Yeah, it's being incredibly dumb. For frick's sake. So, she doesn't really care how what your decision is there. She's just wanting she needs the altar.
Okay. Well, I think we've established we shouldn't have too much trouble.
And it just occurred to me that I should have frickin' changed this back after the fight was over.
Okay, well. Yeah, so I presume we're cameling up again. Yeah.
Well, they're Nazis, but they're not Nazis. Yeah. So the standard that'll apply. Your camels will be appropriate, and she will make the comment that Reyna will see to your to that which you require, and then she will be gone, and you will note that the headdress or whatever it is that was on the top of the throne is also no longer there.
Mm-hmm. She's up to shenanigans.
Maybe she's just doing her job. So, Rana will step forward and make sure that you have you start working to arranging supplies and such like that. I inquire if there is anything additional that you have need of.
I guess this time we don't have Zyanra going along to, well, she probably will, but she won't know anything necessarily about this place. Or will she?
I don't know. That would possibly be anyone with area knowledge djinn lands, although it is going to be at some penalties because it's weird. I think that's her and Ismir. Ismir's never heard of it.
Well, I suppose if we end up leaving off in the morning, we've got the rest of what remains of this day to ask around, research, etc. So we can at least find out what we're getting into.
Yep, that is potential. Yes.
And we're passing by the city of 10,000 lights. Damn, we just came from there.
Well, it's one of those that you don't necessarily have to go through there.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's off the path, but it's probably not a place we want to stop and rest.
Yes, indeed.
Although I suppose it's now belongs to Zad al-Dawahi, so I'm sure it's improved.
Yes, that's also possibly the case.
Well, unless somebody else is going to say anything, we're good.
So this is a quick, not meta, but with regards to those of you, I think definitely Thorn was trying to find out about the whole the fact that the soldiers were uncomfortable and worried and such like that. So if I'm going to reshare the map here in a second so that should see the whole of the djinn lands, correct? You see that the whole thing now?
Yes.
Or is it just really? It didn't? That's weird. I thought when I reshared it, it was supposed to.
I think there's a resync or something like that.
Where does that?
I mean,
so it's in the radio menu.
Move it around, move the image around, and see the entirety.
So you got two share in the sharing. You've got two options. I
Sync
think
client view.
Yeah.
Did it change that time?
Yes.
Okay. So you are aware where the Citadel of 10,000 Pearls is and the City of 10,000 Delights. There are two additional cities to the north of the djinn lands. Both of those belong to her.
Oh.
So all of the other major cities are controlled by, well, other djinn.
So the fact that she controls 4 cities makes her pretty powerful.
It does indeed. I sure hope nothing bad comes of that.
Well, the other djinns are probably going to start feeling threatened by that and may retaliate or group together.
Okay, so regardless of we'll have to figure out how much information you are able to determine about the city of 10,000 Pillars, or Aram.Alimad, about that. But that's something I can determine later. So we'll go ahead and end it here with you guys. It'll probably be the next day that you actually ride out, because you're going to be spending the rest of the day getting ready, kitting up, and trying to do some research and such like that.
Yep.
So 2 points.
So we will end with, whoops, that was wrong. It should be the 5th now. We will end with you guys departing the city, or the Citadel of 10,000 Barrels, with your camels, and everybody is going to get 3 points tonight instead of 2, because I was pretty pleased with everybody's stories. So bonus point all around. Ha ha. Ethan missed it because he couldn't bother to be here.
You should egg him on. Is he back yet?
He's actually in there. I think he had the stream up.
Too bad, so sad. All right, and that's where we will end it for the night. I hope everybody had some fun there. So if you are watching this, if you're watching this and have questions, corrections, general complaints, or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment or find us on Discord. Thank you for watching. Olympus bids you good night.
Good night, Thráin.
Good night.